All right. Okay.
Oh, we're on?
Looks like we're gonna be on in a few. I think. Oh, looks like we're on. Oh shit! It's the echo.
No, no, the echo is my fault. I have it on my monitor so we can see what we're doing.
Oh, okay, cool.
In case somebody comments, I want to be able to see what we're doing. My monitor so we can see what we're doing.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Okay, I'm kind of getting an echo, or I was for a second ago. Someone else must have their monitor up.
Maybe.
Let's see if I can share this screen to people's.
Sure, dude. Go ahead. Have fun. Go crazy with it.
I'm gonna get
Oh.
real weird with it.
Oh, did you guys hear the news? Queen Elizabeth died at 96. The second. The second.
Yeah,
Second death,
that's
like she died a
the
first time.
No,
no.
you
She's the
moron.
second in the Queen Elizabeth line.
Exactly. Is he
But
muted?
are they sure she's dead?
It's
Am I muted?
it's a part of the mainstream Space Monkey. They're sure.
I'm
And
just
yeah,
being
you're not muted.
sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Are y'all talking about the Quaid?
So I guess she finally died. People have been saying for years, when will she die? Because it seems like she's immortal, but I guess she finally kicked the bucket.
Well, in the words of Motorhead, God save the Quaid.
God send the queen.
God, no,
Look,
God
I'm not.
save
I'm
the
Maybe.
not.
Quaid.
I'm not British. I haven't lived in England, but I have family that did. So I say, rest in peace.
Yeah,
May
you left a shitty country behind for the better.
Well, I mean, my family preferred America, but either way, I don't know. Just I don't know. I just for some reason I feel really bad. I never knew her,
Oh,
and
compared to a
I'm not a
girl,
fan of
England's worse off.
She's she's
British
lit.
royalty.
She's
She's
an
what?
she's an she's an icon of the crown, so it's understandable anybody with any sort of English roots would feel something for her.
Well, I mean, I feel bad when anyone dies, and Nazo. Death is a horrible thing. Life is where it's at.
Uh,
Yeah, true enough. Well, death is a horrible thing, but for those like me that believe in an afterlife, it's never the end.
yeah. Hey,
Ah,
Nas, remember how you said I would get tired later after noon? Well, congratulations. You should be doing the fuck you always right dance.
I'm sorry. What, Nathan?
You remember earlier today you said I should probably take a nap, or by noon I'll be passing out. Congratulations, you were right.
Well, yeah, dude, you stayed up. You stayed up for several fucking hours. Of course, you're gonna be tired in the afternoon.
Yep. And
But
I think I'm.
did you listen to me?
No, I didn't.
Of course you didn't. Well,
Hindsight strikes again.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
whatever.
Who strikes again?
Hindsight?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't think I had Omicron, and I don't know who to blame. The Chinese or the whatever.
You can
Or
blame.
it could be Captain 2020.
Well,
I
this
don't want to.
stream's not getting monetized.
Oh, that's right. We're on stream. Sorry.
Oh, Nathan, I gave up on that a long time ago. But that's besides the point, Nathan. I don't want to be that guy right now, but it could be whatever you touch or ate. I mean, possibility. Who knows,
Hold up. Where do you think I've been?
dude? I don't know where you've been. I'm making a wild guess.
Wow, that hurts. That hurts.
Really? What would
No,
you rather have? Me monitor the shit out of you and find the answer myself?
no, I'm fucking with you.
No, 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 Dan. You don't want to be that. That's the FBI. But
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want you to be the FBI. I'd be calling you a baby killer if you were.
Well, shit.
Dan's been getting in his car and he's driving real far, and he looks out and he sees a light. Uh,
Dude, I don't even have a
Out comes a man
driver's.
from Mars.
Dude, I don't even have a driver's license.
What?
You guys, did you
You
guys
try
say
to run,
Serious?
but he's got a gun and he shoots you dead and he eats your head. I'm just joking. Uh,
you're weird, Nazo?
wait, have you guys seen the boys yet?
No,
Yeah, I've
the
That's
voice
watched.
that's the
never
that's
forget.
the
No.
song Soldier Boy singing Rapture.
I know. I've watched the show and I've read the comics before I watched the show to get into the show.
Ah,
What a waste of time.
comics are vastly different from the show, though. from what I've
Well,
heard.
there are some similarities, but if you ask me which is better, if you ask me which is more cohesive, I'd say the show.
Yeah.
Comics,
Yeah,
in
probably.
my opinion, the comics, in my opinion, have a bigger imagination than the show. Like the show, it's
By
like
bigger imagination, you mean they do more fucked up shit.
I'll be right back. I'll be right
by
back.
bigger imagination, dude, I mean like the fact that there isn't this they don't all rely on this one company to have powers. There's all sorts of heroes, all sorts of powers, all sorts of power structures. Like in the comics, it basically follows the rules of DC and Marvel, an ever expanding system for society.
This is legit. By the way, you got a little stream with an indie comic. This is cool.
Well, I'm mostly reading an Indiana Jones comic while I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to multitask.
Yeah. I just like the part when Marcus tells Indiana, you could be thrown in jail for life for pulling some shit like that. Without risk, there isn't much point to it at all. Or much fun either. Oh man, I
think that woman would be kind of wet in her region to see a hunky a hunky He-Man scientist smack a cigarette out of her mouth.
At first, Nazo, I'd say you're fucking crazy, but honestly, the fact that she did this for an extra credit assignment just tells me that you may be onto something.
Yeah, well, I remember back in like the movies, just like the girls up front, just like kind of gawking at Professor Jones, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. He's good looking. I know why you're studying in this class. You're not actually here to learn anything.
At first, I thought it was it was funny when I was a kid, but I thought it was weird. But then later, it's like, wait, this is college. Okay, yeah, this does make sense, I guess.
Yeah, and I thought college these days was a waste of time.
Professor, I know you're 30 years older than me, but could you?
Well, you know what about college being useless? You can make that argument, but honestly, I'd say I'd rather, if I had the chance, I would definitely go to Dr. Jones's class. The work might be a lot, but I don't know. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
I feel like I could actually learn something from that college professor as compared to most.
Yeah. Oh wow, okay. The only downside is
kidding.
Since this takes place in the 1930s, you'll probably have a lot of outdated information that you have to rely on to pass, assignments.
Yep.
That's the only downside.
Like the concept that sharks are absolute bloodthirsty killers and you should stay away from beaches.
And you might run into a snake no matter where you go.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing people follow even in that time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus there are snakes everywhere, and God, do I hate snakes.
Oh, great. You'll fit right in Dr. Jones's class, Nathan.
Oh, no, he'd kick me out for being an extremist. Like, I would say we should kill all snakes. We should exterminate them with extreme prejudice.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he would care.
Indy has no love for snakes. He hates snakes.
I would be like, we need to kill one, skin it, and make that a flag if we declare a genocidal war on snakes.
Mm. He used to not have a fear for snakes at all, but when he ran into that giant snake in that flashback for the Last Crusade, he got so fucking scared of them that it became a trauma for him.
Makes sense. He saw it in because the flashback in the Last Crusade is the kid Indy from the Indiana Jones show, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. The natural fear, seeing a giant snake at such a young age, naturally would drive your fear even into adulthood.
Probably.
Well, it's like the people who were present at 9/11 at a young age. It would drive their fear of any person who's like Arabic, purely because Arabic people blew up the tower.
That explains all the fucking early 2000s jokes about Muslims that I kept seeing in shows like The Office.
Yep.
Or Team America, or South Park for that matter.
Oh yeah, that is true as well. Which reminds me, oh shit, what did I forget? My fucking head.
Your plan?
Shut up about the plan, Nathan. I'm trying to think right now.
You had a
It's all
plan?
part of the plan.
Well, I
You had a
have
plan?
no, Nazo. I live off of plans. I spent my whole life living off of plans. The downside is that the universe says "fuck you" and screws over my plans all the fucking time.
Wow.
What
Ooh,
was-
join the club.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that gives you some comment with George Lucas.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Nathan?
That gives you something kind with George Lucas, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to grow up and become a race car driver, but the universe said "fuck you," car accident.
Now you're gonna make movies.
Taken over by the mouse.
I'm still trying to think of the parallel universe or alternate timeline out there where George Lucas is just a famous race car driver and Star Wars doesn't exist.
That sounds like a happy yet bleak future.
Well, I mean-
live in.
It would suck because, imagination and creativity would die in our current century. But I guess the only good side to it is that there may not be modern SJWs.
Actually, imagination and creativity might be getting a renaissance in that future.
Yeah.
The future, we're talking about the reality where George didn't make Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Seriously? Really? The creative genius, the modern storyteller of the modern great storyteller of our time took traditional stories and brought them back to the modern era of the 20 to 21st century? Or, yeah, you're saying that without him, our creativity would have a renaissance?
I don't know, but I need to take a nap. So you two enjoy this pissing match.
Pissing match.
You're
Nathan,
killing
you
me.
should have listened to me before, dude. Why didn't you go to sleep earlier?
Because I'm a stubborn SOB.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now you're reaping the fucking rewards of it.
Yeah, I got a stuffy nose. I'm pissed off, and I got no one to blame. But well, no, I'm not even gonna say that.
Have you ever thought of drinking tea?
I've been drinking Gatorade and Diet Coke all day.
That's not going to help you.
How do you know it isn't?
Dude, Gatorade and soda does not help you when you're fucking sick.
Okay, you sound like my grandfather now. Well, actually, no, he probably would have worse advice.
I can't believe I have to explain this.
Believe it, buddy boy, you do.
I can't take this. Now, Nathan, you need to get something warm. Gatorade and soda usually are cold.
Well, I
And
can't.
you
'cause I'm
have-
confined to my room. I'm quarantined till I get rid of all this crap because my mom doesn't have it, and as far as I know, my sister doesn't have it.
Dude, oh, okay. Omicron shares the symptoms of a cold. Doesn't have all of, it's not a cold, but it has similar symptoms. So when you feel cold, you might want to get fucking warm. I don't know.
Does will boiled eggs help?
I think it could do something, but I'm not sure if it'll help your case completely.
Fuck it, I'll give it a shot. Y'all have fun.
Okay, have fun.
Yep.
But anyway, no, the reason why I suggested that, we might actually be getting a cultural renaissance in modern 2000s in the era where George Lucas didn't recreate imagination is because in that time, George Lucas didn't recreate imagination because in the 70s, things were already kind of going downhill. You idealized the bad boy and the criminal over the traditional hero, and society kind of crumbled in that degree. Because again, there's no reason you can't like the character that's like the reluctant hero.
Right.
Again, there's characters like Snake Plissken, for example, that exist, but it doesn't mean that archetype doesn't have a purpose or a meaning. And
You okay, Nazo? Nazo? Okay, I'll give you your time.
Ah!
Oh, Nazo, hold on a second.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude. Hold on a second. I gotta go look into something, okay?
Yeah, like just suddenly just cut me off. I'm like, what the heck happened?
Don't worry, I'm gonna figure this out. Just hold on a minute. Oh,
Okay.
and if anyone comes, just introduce yourself and stuff.
Okay. Pretty going everybody's fine. You just heard I said, my flash is fast, flash is cool. That's what's my fashion will do, and you don't stop. Shush. Go out to the parking lot, and you get in the car, and you drive real far, and you see him. Out comes a man from Mars. Try to run. He's got a gun, and he shoots you dead, and he eats your head, and now you're in the man from Mars. Hello? I'm still here. Hello? I stare at you from across the screen. I am Pepperonian. If anybody dares tune in, I'm amusing myself while Dan fixes a technical issue. Nathan apparently has Omicron, and I don't know what happened to Space Monkey. He kind of just dropped off the feed there. Hello. She sells seashells down by the seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore. Oh, we got someone in the comments. Nathan Stein. Batman is overrated. Well, I'm not going to argue with you there. Although I do like Batman. Batman is cool. But right now, I get you. Got Dan is fixing a technical issue because for some reason I went blank during the stream. The reality where Lucas never made Star Wars sounds abysmal. Well, yeah, it does if you exist in like the 70s and the 80s, but like around the 90s and the 2000s is when the Renaissance starts happening. We actually get creative people because of how like bad the downpour would have been in the 80s and like the 70s and the 80s, basically, because there was no creative guy like George Lucas. That's when the Renaissance emerges in the later eras. Yeah, because that's usually how it happens. Like if things go through a creative dry spell, then production companies they get desperate to hold on to something that's of worth because they can't fool the masses anymore because the masses are like, this is mediocre and bland. Remember, the gaming industry almost died in the 80s. I think it was the 80s when they made the oh god, what was it? The ET video game. There was like piles of them, and like the game industry actually had to do a course correction just to fix the problem.
Dude, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Nate. He's in the
Oh,
comments because he's not in the stream.
he's in the comments. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was just explaining like how because like in that alternate reality where George Lucas, State
Didn't make
Eraser.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he didn't make Star Wars in the 70s, so the 70s and the 80s would suffer a decline in film quality, kind of like what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
They would suffer a complete decline in film quality. So like around the time of like the 90s and early 2000s we would get our renaissance. Somebody would create something new and inventive based off of like old tales from like the 50s and 60s, or even further back from like Greek tales and stuff like that, like just historical hero's journey type stuff, and it would spark a creative renaissance within the 90s and early 2000s.
Interesting.
Yeah, the 90s is when our creative renaissance started to, because George Lucas did create a creative renaissance in the 70s, and it pushed through to the 80s and started going downhill in the 90s, and then early 2000s it was like near its ending phase, which is why the 2010s is filled with so much garbage.
I'd say the 2010. Well, okay, the start of the 2010s, there's some gems, and I would say overall the 2010s is a mixed bag as well. There is a lot of garbage. There's also a lot of decent stuff.
I would not call Marvel decent. Not even
Marvel.
Just like I'm talking about like surface level fame films. I'm not even talking about.
Are you referring to cartoons?
I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about like the film industry for Marvel.
Wait, so you don't like any of the MCU?
It's not that I don't like any of them. It's that most of them, like it. I think I liked it during the start, but most of it became very bland, run of the mill, superhero storytelling.
No, okay. Well, I guess.
And there was. I'm just saying there was some story progression, some gems.
Yeah.
But like a lot of it is pushed down with like certain flack and stuff like that.
The thing is, I loved Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 3 I did like, but Phase 3 is when I started to notice the slow decline in quality that slowly got faster over time. But thing is, I don't think everything in the 2010s is horrible. I think it's a mixed bag, but I do believe that around the 2010s is when the quality of our creativity slowly started to drop. Like, yeah, sure, the MCU was a major success, just like a lot of franchises were. But the bigger issue is that in the span of those successes, these companies decide to, instead of being more, creative and cohesive with the worlds they make, just do anything that'll make them money. Just focus purely on money making. And they drowned out the creativity. And then they gave into the realm of modern wokeness, which was around for a while, but it really took over steam around then. And then a lot of creatives either A, played ball, lost who they were, or left the industry.
Phil's in the private chat. Hi, Phil.
Oh, hey, Phil. Oh, look, Space Monkey is back after being away for 90 years.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back? All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude,
working?
You drive under an awning and it just kicks you out.
Hello there.
Oh, it's Phil in. Oh, Phil's in. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Phil.
Why, you're a black screen.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, my camera is just not liking me today, and really, I don't care.
Well, just if you want, just go off cam and
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Set up a PFP.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Mine is yeah. There you go. Mine is one of my favorite expanded
Does
universe.
this work on mobile? It does. I'm using mobile right now, or at least an iPhone.
What? Okay then.
So yeah, with this this is a sit and bowl session. We were talking about how, like, if we were talking about like the concept of an alternate reality in which George Lucas became a race car driver, and we never got the creative renaissance in the '70s that we did
Interesting.
with
Hold on
with
a
the
second, Nazo. Hold on. Hold on. A great race car driver.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. A great race car driver. He would have been the next Dale Earnhardt.
Or, I don't know, Steve McQueen, if that's a real person.
And Steve McQueen was a real dude. Yes, he was.
Okay, hold on.
Nice.
That confirms it. My brain is fucked up.
Where do you get these?
Where do I get what?
What website is this?
Read comics online. I rely on it whenever I don't have any room to actually buy comics.
I have to use a different site for it because, like, every time I use Read Comics Online, it tries to put like a fucking virus on my phone.
Oh, it's done that to me. It's tried to do that to me, but all I did was start an account and make sure to create things that'll block, the viruses. And now I could use it freely.
Well, again, I found a site that I can actually like download comic images. It's very similar to free comics online, and I'm going to use pages from that one to put into Net's expanded universe channel that he has on his server, and for anyone to read along.
I tell you, this stream definitely isn't getting monetized. I'll tell you that.
Oh, we start saying gamer words now?
Huh? I don't know. No,
Phil
earlier
Phil said the stupid thing booted him.
Earlier
It's very
Nazo and Nathan made a joke about, this stream not getting monetized because they mentioned COVID. And I'm like, well, we're now talking about websites that aren't, official. So I'm like, this stream definitely isn't getting monetized now. That's a joke.
Is this okay? So this girl's going with Indy. Is this I have to ask, is this one of those ones where like she doesn't look as attractive with the glasses on, and then he takes them off, and then
It
she's
could
like
be.
she's like super attractive. She takes out her hair bun, and she's like got long, thick, luscious locks of
that was,
hair.
Oh my god, it could
Two
be. I
shots
don't
and a
know,
half.
guys.
And then suddenly he falls in love with her, and
Son of a. Well, look, all I know is this is the sister of the brother who was a student of his before he got killed for whatever he brought to the university, like a gift or something, like some kind of treasure. And now Indy's like, searching for whatever this could be.
Ruh-roh. It's like, this is the thing that killed my brother.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They grew up to be archaeologists like Indy, so I guess they were influenced. I hear these comics take place before some of the movies, like I think at least all of them. So this is like him in his like earlier years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random Arab attack.
Damn, they just throws her out of a fucking window. Poor Edith.
Dr. Jones!
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a high window.
I think it is because that guy just grabbed her.
He uses his whip. That's Indy for you. He uses the magic of his whip to save the damsel.
His magical whip can do all types of wonders. His mystical magical whip.
This whip is magic. Too bad they don't know you like I do.
Yeah. I remember when I always wanted a whip because I wanted to be like Indiana Jones, and then my parents were freaked out because they were thinking of slavery when I mentioned getting a whip. And I was talking about
God.
Yeah, and I was talking about just wanting to be Indiana Jones.
Phil says, drop her, Dr. Jones. She will be found. Will not.
Yeah, there's a variety of ways to screw up my childhood, and my parents found every single one.
All parents
I wonder if Nathan's our one viewer.
potentially, if he hasn't
Yeah.
finally taken your advice and gone to sleep.
Oh, good point. Good fucking point. Hey Phil, why do you keep waving your hand in front of the screen? What are you doing?
Waving his hand in front of the screen.
Yeah, he keeps waving his hand. He looks like a biker from a bar. Minus the motorcycle. You do, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie here. Oh, which reminds me. It's up to you guys, but feel free to show your faces. But it's your choice. I'm not gonna, tell you what to do.
All right, give me 1 second.
Oh wow, okay.
Behold my face. Face reveal.
Face reveal. Oh wow, okay. All right. I had no idea. Okay, a puppet this whole fucking time. Space
Not
Monkey.
just any type of puppet. An Ewok.
Space Monkey, you look like a college student.
You can actually get a look at my 5 head there, and that's it.
You weren't kidding about that whole beanie thing. I guess Nathan was right. You are a hipster.
Oh, me?
Not you. I'm Space
Oh.
Monkey. For instance, who are you and why are you threatening Miss Dune and me? Have you been threatened, Dr. Jones? The louts I sent you to escort you here exceed my orders if they harmed you. But you are right. Introductions are in order. It is for that reason. Oh, wait, no. My name is Solomon Black. Gee, I didn't know. I'm a businessman. I think you will find our interests are complementary. It is for that reason that I have had my agents monitoring Miss Dune. Right, okay.
Go ahead and add me, says Space Monkey.
Something happened to Space Monkey?
Yeah, I think he got kicked or something.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Here we go.
Yeah, I can see where this is going. She's got the thick glasses and the hair back into a ponytail, and then maybe she won't just be attractive without the glasses. Maybe she'll get to keep them.
Dude, I can't
Hello,
listen
Phil.
right now.
Phil looks like an old Jedi.
He looks like a biker from a biker gang.
Yeah.
And Space Monkey still looks like a college student. No thanks, dude.
What?
I'm not a cannibal. I am not a cannibal.
Phil says, "Bite me."
I'm not a cannibal. I'm not biting anything.
What happened to me? It's nice that he's got a sense of humor about it. Phil must be having speaking issues because I can't really hear him. I can see him.
I have. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think so. I can.
Oh,
hear
okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you
There
now.
we go. Hey. All right. So
All right.
I was actually trying to read some of this stuff, but the print's like super small on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be on your phone. I've also got this going on my monitor in my room, so I'm actually able to read it. You have to have it on like a laptop going as well.
I'm using a jeweler's loop to read it. I can read some of it.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm supposed to be the one reading, and you guys are supposed to be talking about random shit.
And well, here's the thing,
Yeah,
man.
well.
You whipped out an
When you-
Indiana Jones comic. Come on, dude. I hadn't seen one of these.
Yeah,
in
when
days.
you put on a comic in general, like naturally we're gonna look at it with some level
Not
of
only that,
curiosity.
but something that's a relic so far in my past. It's like, come on, man. You don't expect me to stop and smell the roses?
All right, I guess that's fair.
What other comics they got on here?
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they got
there?
all sorts of comics, dude. DC, Marvel, you name it.
Are these like in
Do they have Dark Horse? I love Dark
Yes,
Watch out
they
for
have
the-
Dark Horse.
Watch out for the angry natives, man, because they are not happy when you decide to encroach on their turf. They will
That's-
put the boots to you. And that happens
That's-
in the lot. You'd think he'd figured that out by now. You
Who
can't
figured
just
out
go
what by now?
wandering into people's territory, man. You gotta film and shit.
One of the guys that's just with him, like one of his local guides, is getting pelted with arrows, and I'm just like,
Right.
He's just doing his Boromir impression.
Oh,
Really, dude? Wow. Okay.
Boromir
Yeah.
or Faramir, either one, because if you remember right, they both got the arrows.
Faramir
Did?
got at least 2, but he lived.
Yes, he did, and went on to marry a really fine honey. He married everyone.
She only married him because Aragorn wasn't available.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
there is
Aragorn
there
was
is the
an
meme
idiot.
about
He
that.
married the wrong one. I've said that for years, but that's my.
There is there is the meme about that where it's was it Eowyn friend zoned by Aragorn? A chance for Faramir, captain of Gondor, to show his
Exactly.
quality.
Yeah. Have you guys ever
Yes.
heard of a guy on YouTube called Thor Skywalker?
Oh,
I
yeah.
have,
I love Thor
yes.
Skywalker. I'm a big fan of his content.
Yeah, him and his wife Naboo do a Meme Monday, and Faramir comes up a lot.
Wait. Hold. You spoke to Thor Skywalker?
No, I watch him and his wife's stuff on YouTube. Thor Skywalker Plus.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. I mean, I debated him a couple times on Twitter, but I
Really?
never had full conversations with him. He's a cool
No.
dude.
I haven't really talked to him. I've sent him a couple of messages like, that was some really funny shit, or that idea is kind of a little wonky, but that's just my opinion. It's just left it at that. Basically, I never looked to see if he replied or nothing.
Well, dude, you're worse than wonky, but you don't see me complaining.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do the damn job, because if I wasn't wonky, then the world would just be normal and blah and vanilla.
Fair enough. I see your point.
You need a few wonky people in there.
It's a
Yeah, you do. That is fair.
But- Seriously, Phil, to me, you look like one of those classic hermit Jedis.
yeah, that would be about right too.
Icons of the Kamamanen.
He is a
That's what
biker, and
Miriam
that's-
says I look like. She says, "You look like an old gray Jedi." I'm like, "Are you calling me old?"
He's a biker. He is a
With
biker.
age comes wisdom.
I am a Viking.
You just
actually.
need a brown hood.
I didn't say Viking, you moron. I said biker.
Well, I'm a bit of both.
Sure.
The damn hair sway.
As
What
long
do
as
they
you're
call those
okay.
people at rock concerts? Roadies?
Yep,
Looks like a roadie.
I've
Roadies
been
are
a
cool.
roadie. I've actually been a roadie, so
There you go.
You
Nice.
say that with such pride.
I do, because it was a really super small act nobody had ever heard of, and they just let me kind of like kick around and
Smoke all the
I got to
unused
hang out
marijuana.
at a concert for free, get drunker than hell, hang out with a bunch of honeys, and then afterward I had to help them pick up the stuff and move it to the next place. Wasn't that bad?
Oh my
Yeah,
No,
god.
roadies
free
are cool.
marijuana.
They get to hang out and protect the talent on occasion.
The only thing I was protecting them from was that the fucking bottles had run dry. I'd made a lot of alcohol runs. I swear to God, those guys could drink, and so could I. So we were always out. Oh, those were the good old days.
This is Iron Man.
Oh, this is the Avengers.
Oh, the
Who?
Avengers. Okay.
hmm
Break out my loot. See what
I'm
I'm
reading
Dang,
different
they
comics
did
at
not
once.
do Hulk any serve. I mean, they
Look
made
at
him
that
look like a
Hulk
Lego
artwork.
man.
That is an old school freaking Hulk, dude.
This is the classic Hulk, you morons.
How come he has
I'm just
green
saying, he
hair in
looks
one
he
and
All
looks
right.
black
like one
hair
of
in the
those.
other?
First of all, you don't get to call me a moron over that because I actually remember this stuff when it came out, some of it.
And I don't get
In the
offended, Phil.
70s, they still didn't lose much of that classic look.
Don't
And it was
get
only until
offended, Phil.
later
I
that they
call
started
people a
making it
moron.
more.
Don't get
Go ahead.
offended, Phil. I call people morons for no reason sometimes. You should feel
That's
special.
true. That's true. You just call us morons just because, well, we're acting like morons too. So
Speaking
'cause
speaking of,
sometimes
I
we're
don't
so
want to bring
strange.
attention to it, but the guy got suspended to it. Did you see that person that told Miriam, like, are you retarded for liking stuff for Kenobi? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
He said
I
what?
don't. I'm not familiar. Who are we talking about?
Okay, so this morning, before I even got like my new headset, some dude, like, Miriam was excited for like this latest. She was excited for this latest Kenobi behind the scenes thing,
Right.
and the person who was a follower of mine ended up stopped being a follower after I called him out. Um, and
What a
was a
dumb little
follower
guy.
of mine, started saying shit like, are you retarded? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would you ask that question? Like, I said, no, she just likes Star Wars. It doesn't matter to her if it comes from Disney or not. And then
He's
Yeah,
like
retarded.
he started going on this whole tangent about, like, I still have the screenshots. I don't want to read them right now, but like
Yeah, don't
Like,
don't
you
don't
could
re-anger
share
yourself
them.
over this,
You
man.
could share them if you want. Honestly, I'm kind of a little annoyed here because, like, look, no matter how garbage Disney Star Wars gets, we should not hate on the people that like it. Yeah, sure, okay, they may, like something that we probably know is not as good as it could be, but if they're not assholes, if they're genuine good people like
If they're truly
Miriam,
enjoying it,
then
let
there's
them,
no
right?
reason to jump on them. Like, look, I know
yeah,
there's
no,
modern
Miriam is
SJWs.
someone.
There's modern SJWs and sequel fans out there who are assholes. I'm not going to say there aren't. I've dealt with them. But Mary's not an asshole. Treat her
No,
with
she's a
respect.
sweetheart, and anybody that wants to come at her better come at me first because look, I haven't known her a long time, but the kid has grown very dear to my heart very quickly, and just because she's intelligent and she's kind and she's respectful and she doesn't go out of her way to insult other people, and I really don't.
No,
like
she
it.
does not.
And I really
No,
don't like it when others do to her. And it's,
Yeah, well, here's
I'm glad
the
you
here's
stuck
the.
up for her. Thank you. I wasn't there. So
Of course,
thank you
no,
for
of
that.
course. That's she's one of my friends. I'm not gonna just like let
Hell yeah.
somebody like
Run her
fuck,
over?
like
Me
yeah,
either.
run her over like that. I mean, like, even like we talked in the DM after. She's like, that guy was rude. I'm like, yeah, I'm really sorry. Please don't take this idiot as an advocate of every expanded universe fan. All right,
I'm
We're
sorry,
not
but
all
Loki's. Go back to
Was that,
Loki.
wait, hold
He
on,
looks great.
Nazir. Was that an Expanded Universe fan?
Yeah,
Huh?
no, this guy, I could tell he was at least like, at least I think he was an expanded universe fan, but he was just like attacking her and like mistreating her purely because she
liked the sequel stuff.
well, it's not just the sequel stuff. It wasn't even sequel related. It was related like to a behind the scenes thing for Kenobi because she really enjoyed Kenobi, and I'm like, yeah, like
But
I didn't
love
have the same
behind-
experience with.
Even if
Like,
I
I
didn't
didn't have
like.
this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I didn't have the same experience with Kenobi that she did, but that doesn't mean I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna like come out of the blue. Yeah, your experience is shit. I'm like, who the
Right.
fuck
I didn't
says
have
that?
the same experiences. I didn't have the same experiences she did, but I liked the behind the scenes things because it gives us a little insight as to what was going on, and I see it as enriching to the story. I think she's on to something there personally. But
Yeah, but
I thought Kenobi had my biggest problem was it was all shot too dark. And I've said that then, I say it now. Other than that,
this is the thing. One thing he said actually both it made her chuckle and it made me chuckle, and I'm like, he's like, is this like your girlfriend or something? Is that why you're sticking? I'm like, no, she's literally just a friend that treats people with respect. I'm like, I'm sorry that like you can't figure that out.
right?
And I said I told Miriam, I made this joke in the DMs. I said, I guess if, like, let's say hypothetically my buddy Padawan of Christ had said something similar, he's like, ooh, I can't wait for the behind the scenes for this show, and then someone called him retarded. I guess if I stuck up for him, that would mean he's my boyfriend somehow. I'm like,
I
are
don't
you
know
fucking
why,
serious?
but people have this. For some reason, right now, there's this huge misconception. If you get along, and I don't care what side it is, if you get along with someone, if you have a strong bond with someone, if you're defending someone, people always assume that there's some kind of romantic relationship thing going on.
Yeah, what is up with that? Because, I mean, seriously, dude, I've been doing this for a while, and it just seems like people, their minds jump there, like, automatically now. It's ridiculous because, first of all,
Well, it's the same
most of the
reason you
people
see a
that
guy
they're
and a girl
talking about
together.
are far under my age range. You know,
Well, when you see a guy and a girl together at a restaurant, you assume they're a couple. It's like that.
not always. I take into depth how they're conversing.
Yeah, but this
with each
isn't
other.
even this isn't even like a, no offense. Sorry to bug you, Phil. But this
All right.
this isn't even this isn't even like two people at a restaurant talking. This is a normal everyday Twitter talk.
Right.
Which Miriam's in Bahrain. I'm in California, so I'm like, how the
Yeah,
how
you're
the
further away from her than I
dude,
am.
you're in Angel City. That's awesome.
I'm not in Angel
City,
City.
I know where that is, actually.
No, that's a nickname California has. It's called the City of Angels.
That's Los Angeles.
Yeah, I don't live in Los Angeles, thank Christ.
Oh, so where do you live in California, dude?
I'm not at liberty to divulge that information.
I'm from
Yeah,
Northern
you're right,
California
you're right,
originally.
Yeah, forget I asked anything.
Hey,
As a
Naza,
former
have you ever heard
Californian,
of a
you
little
both
town
need to
called
get out.
Olivehurst?
Have I ever heard of a little town called what? Say again, Phil?
Olivehurst.
Olivehurst?
Olivehurst. Marysville.
No.
I'm surprised. But I'm happy about that. If you ain't heard of it, then consider yourself lucky. It's one of those places you try to forget that you've ever been to. Kind of like Wendover, Nevada.
Of course, the shapeshifter.
What is the shapeshifter? He has like the classic slick back hair villain haircut where there's two hairs like popping out the side of the head.
Yeah, he could change himself into anyone.
Well, I remember Mark Hamill's Joker had that same look. Astro Boy had that look.
Dude, that was popular back in the day. What do you want from me?
I ain't complaining. I'm just saying, like, it's to me, because it's not so much that it's the slick back hair. It's the slick back hair and the two sides are propped up, and I'm like, is this to help square the head?
I guess. Who knows?
There are
Probably.
certain artists, I think, that the only way they could draw a head was to make it square. I was like, come on with something. Look at Wolverine's haircut, for example. Doesn't that make it feel like it's just there to make his head blocky so it can be drawn in? That was a
Yeah, but like like I would expect it on someone like Beast, but like
right.
Wolverine, like that's a little too long. That's the one thing I did like about the X-Men films is that they made his hair kind of realistic.
Right.
Where because you know for a fact that like just by looking at Wolverine, like, yeah, this guy's a tough hairy dude. Like
right.
he's gonna have his hair is gonna be a little off. It's gonna be a little messy in general. But like I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like the dude with the slick back hair. For some reason, they have to accentuate those two lines on the side of the head and make it look like he's got hair growing up on the sides. Now, I still don't fully understand that hairstyle, but I get it. It was a style at the time, especially in cartoons and comics.
And what about those mutton chops, huh? I'd never
some
seen
of them
pair of mutton chops as big as the ones Wolverine used to wear around. You know, like.
Well, yeah. Again, Wolverine. I expect him to look a little, and again, like
Right.
his hair was about the exact same length as Beast's. I don't think it should have been that long, but Beast, for Beast, it makes sense.
Right, because he's hairy.
Yeah, he's. he's blue and he's hairy and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
And just as an aside here, the guy that played Fraser Crane on Cheers is the one who actually voiced him for the cartoons and was absolutely my favorite Beast, just hands down. When he
wait,
The
I know.
90s cartoons.
Yeah, well, did he voice him in the '90s cartoons and the '90s X-Men?
I think he did.
Because that would be really cool. Because then it would make a lot more sense why Kelsey Grammer played him. Because that's Kelsey Grammer. Why he
Yes, I
played
know.
him in why he played him in the films.
I couldn't
This is
remember
like
his name though. Thank you for coming up with Kelsey Grammer. It just right out of my head.
I watched a lot of Frasier when I was younger. So
I watched a little bit, but I was more into Cheers. So it tells you.
well, they're within this. They're within like the same universe. So
Yeah, they absolutely are. Nord.
Oh. No, if you a show I watched a lot though as a kid, like probably more so than what am I thinking of? Then Frasier was probably Seinfeld.
I could not really watch that show. I just couldn't. And I watched the Soup Nazi one though because that became sort of so iconic. I had to go back and see it just to make sure that I didn't. People would talk about it, and I'd be able to converse with them. But
The interesting thing about Seinfeld is that although a lot of its stuff is dated, a lot of the premises that are set up in it are actually like relatable to people even today.
right.
Like when, like it's like when you date a certain woman, but she's got like that one problem, like she's got man hands, or she looks a little too much like your best friend, like a girl version of your best friend, and it's
that's actually happened to me.
Oh jeez, you've had a real life Seinfeld moment.
I did not realize it until I had them sitting in a room and they sat down next to each other and it was like, okay, guys, you just got to look at each other and tell me that I am not imagining this. And we all laughed about it and it was funny. I broke up with her a couple months later.
Oh jeez. No, the only show that I might equivalent.
That wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of him. It was because other things ended up happening. I don't want to go into it. It's a terrible story. Anyway,
No,
long story short, yeah, that did sort of happen to me once.
Yeah, no, like the only thing I would equivalent to actual modern day Seinfeld would probably be Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Although I must admit
that either, but I've heard it's really good.
I must admit the people in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they have gotten progressively worse as human beings than the people in Seinfeld, and that's kind of why I love it, because I'm like,
that's the
what other line are these people going to cross
of the show, to show how bad normal people can be if given the right circumstances. It's basically a show about regression.
Pretty much, yeah. That's why I love it, because I'm like, okay, how can they possibly, like, one of the running jokes was like this guy who like was in love with Deandra, and he became a priest, and after he was a priest for only a short time because he ended up falling in love with Dee again, and then she dumped him, and then he ended up homeless on the streets, like, and his life got progressively worse from there. And it's like it's kind of a running gag, his life getting worse in the show. And when my friend Kevin first watched it, he's like, I said, so how does Cricket look? He's like, okay, he's missing an eye and he's got a scar on his neck. Okay, he's going to get a lot worse. Just wait. They're not done with him yet. I'm like, yeah, because by the end of it, he looks kind of like Two-Face. Because he's still in the show and around and everything, but by the end of it, he kind of looks like Two-Face, but he's kind of comfortable with how horrible his life is.
I was sitting here trying to think of the other show. I was thinking of a show where it shows the people regressing. Ozark.
I have never seen that, but that sounds...
Like the first season and a half of it, dude, but I was like, holy mother of God. Justin Bateman buried the needle on that one. Holy cow. I quit watching it because I was like, dude, this is gonna go someplace where I don't want to go with you guys. Bye.
Probably did.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it did. I was hearing that the third season got really, really dark, really fast, and I was like, that's what I was avoiding. I didn't know if it was going to be in the second or in the third, but I knew it was coming. You can see it, you feel it.
Yeah, the one benefit that I can think of for Always Sunny is that at least when they do dark stuff, they try to portray it in a comedic light because they have like these old timey supermarket type music that they play throughout the show.
Right.
And so, like, even the worst situations kind of end up coming out funny because of the music they're playing in the background. Just as a subtle way, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this is what they're doing. Okay.
Right. There's there's a term for it in theater, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's where you've got tragedy, and I know it's like Shakespearean old. You got tragedy, and you throw comedy in there to kind of keep it from like sinking a person's soul into despair. You know, you give it a little levity because you know if you don't, people are going to go out of the theater and do probably awful things themselves or each other because they're just so down because of what they saw. So you lighten it, you lighten the load, and there's a word for it, and I can't remember, but yeah, that's what they're doing. This is a really old technique. I mean, think about it. You could literally watch someone crash a car off a cliff, and if it's set to a nice enough music, you'll resist it, but you'll laugh. You'll laugh because it's some sort of impulse that we have. That with horror, it's something that alleviates the impact it has on us.
Yeah, well, like one of the recent episodes I watched was basically Dennis and Dee had snuck into this person's house, and Frank had too. Frank is their like adoptive father, I guess, the character Danny DeVito plays. And,
Okay.
What was funny is they had Mac and Charlie hiding in the van. Charlie's wearing an Indiana Jones jacket. Mac is wearing the hat, and he's eating potato chips. And Charlie's like, "Give me a chip." He's like, "If you wanted chips, you should have got some at the hamburger shop." It's like, just give me one. No, you're not getting any chips. And it's like, and Frank has the whip too. He's got like the Indiana Jones whip, so he keeps trying to whip things with it. And like the family that lives in the house, because they're trying to steal a vase from the family because they're like, Charlie's like, it belongs in a museum, and they're like, no, it belongs to Frank. We'll just do whatever. Anyway, they have like this weird like country family affair going on in the house, and they're just listening to things in the back, and they keep sneaking in and out back and past these people, and they're like, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best to explain the episode, and I'm doing horribly, but basically like Dennis is like, I'm starting to think that the people who live in this house don't even know, like, are not very observant when people come in. Like, there's one scene where like Frank hides in the little girl's stuffed animals, and his head is sticking right out, and she grabs the stuffed animal without even noticing him.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but now here's the thing about the power of observation. Sometimes it's a random place that you go, walk into a room, and see how many of those details of what you saw that you can remember when you walk out. Take a little pad of paper and just write down what you can remember, and you'll be surprised how much you missed. Because if you walk back through that door again, you're going to be like, oh, well, I missed this and this and this and this, and things that your mind, human brain, memory capacity, and recall ability are some of the strangest things that we're yet to really understand. And you're trying to remember all of this stuff about this show, and that's what I'm saying. Memory's tricky, dude. So if you're screwing it up, it's not intentional, so nobody really minds it, dude. So carry on. If you screw it up, we forgive you.
I think one of the best things was that Charlie snuck into the house with him, because Charlie's an idiot, so he thinks everything is a game. But Mac actually left them to get more hamburgers,
Yeah.
Like the next time they hear him over the walkie, yeah, I'll have 4 cheeseburgers, and then Charlie's like, tell him to give me some chips. I'm not getting you chips.
Right now, I would kill to be able to eat a hamburger, cheeseburger. I would.
I had a couple this afternoon. They were just White Castle sliders, but like I
Dude.
added like pickle and ketchup to them.
Oh, man, shut up. You're killing me, man. I just got all my teeth pulled.
Oh, shit.
Of them. Yeah, most of them. I still got some
Dang.
here. And so now I'm waiting for my gums to finish healing up so I can get my dentures. And I'm just dying to eat a taco, a pickle, a fucking anything that's not mush. I've eaten so much mush, dude. I literally can become Clayface now. That was a Batman the Animated Series joke for Dan, who's not listening anymore, I don't think.
No, I'm listening, but I'm also reading.
Aha, that's what it was. But no, man, I've been dreaming about pickles, and I'm not kidding. I used to love pickles when I was a kid, so now I can't crunch a pickle, and it's like the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
You know what? Shut up, man. Get your mind out of the gutter so mine can get by.
No, dude, I prefer cucumbers. What did you think I was thinking about?
I don't know, but when I said I missed the crunch of a pickle, you kind of were like, but no, dude, it's just it. Yeah, and you're
Dude,
right. Cucumbers got
pickles
that same
suck.
crunch, and I love
Cucumbers
that
rule.
too. I
Taste
love
blows.
cucumbers. Zucchini, not so much, but love cucumbers. I used to grow cucumbers too, but the weather's been kind of wonky, so I decided not to plant any crops this year. But yeah, cucumbers, great stuff. You know what I miss? I miss cherry tomatoes.
Ooh, I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, but that does sound appealing.
Yeah, a little bit of salt. You cut them in half. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper on them.
Yeah, cherry tomatoes are okay, but they're a bit too sweet for my liking.
I actually get these heritage ones that are, well, these seeds are really hard to get, but they're purple, dude, and they're regular size cherry tomatoes, but they're this weird purple red color, and they're not sweet. They taste just like a regular tomato, actually. They're super hard to find, but they're super amazing, dude.
Yeah, like shoot, what am I thinking? For someone in your case, Phil, I would recommend, at least in the meantime, some like vanilla yogurt or something like that.
Dude, I've been eating so much yogurt, man. I could open my own factory. Yogurt, applesauce, pudding, oatmeal. I take mashed potatoes. Listen, this is crazy. I took chicken tenders, stuck them in a blender with mashed potatoes, and blended that up because I got so tired of everything else.
Ooh,
It was actually not that bad.
mashed chicken. No.
Yeah,
honestly, when you reach the gray period of your life, and by that I mean like you have to soak your teeth in a glass of water the night before. But when you reach that, like, mashed things, you're no longer picky about that shit anymore. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
like you'll take a hamburger and you'll actually grind it into a shake, and you're like, that's actually good. Okay.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that, nor am I ready for pizza and beer. I had a friend of mine got his jaw broken. The guy wrapped the chain around his hand and just wailed him, and it broke his jaw, so they had to wire it shut. And
Ooh.
first time he got home, we were like, whatever you want, Bobby, we'll figure out a way to get it through that hole. What do you want? He's like, I want pizza and beer. So that was what we made him. And as he tells it, it's probably one of the best things he's ever had. I wasn't a big fan.
Mushed pizza and beer.
Yeah, I totally was not a fan. I tried it and I was like, no, I'm not ready for that right now. I'm good. still. I would love some pizza though. Oh my God.
Just wait till your dentures. Wait for your dentures. Once they come in, you can sink your
yeah.
teeth into them pizzas.
Oh yeah. Good. We were talking about Miriam earlier, and she was kind of the one that got me doing this. She's the one that had me track it down. Pepperoni pizza with anchovies.
Ooh.
That's
I
Ewan
am still-
McGregor's favorite pizza, dude.
I'm still. It still surprises me today that Bahrain does not have old-fashioned donuts.
Yeah. That
I'm
is
like,
kind
oh
of-
man, you are so missing out, girl. You gotta give that a try.
Oh yeah. There are a couple of things I was like, so I do cooking, and I was doing. We haven't been doing it. Cooking live cast. That I'm cooking recipes out of the Star Wars cookbook, and there's a lot of pork stuff in there. So I'm like racking my brain trying to figure out a workaround so that when I make this thing, she can have it too. Yeah.
I always find it
I
weird that
wish
they
I
have.
could cook.
I always find
Huh?
it weird, at least even with the current canon, that they have blue bacon for Star Wars.
What?
Yeah, it comes from the puffer pig.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Blue bacon. That could definitely change.
You could
the
probably
whole
just
way I
take
cook.
regular cow's beef and call it a Nerf steak, and then you're just as good. But but yeah, no, they have blue bacon just like they have blue milk.
Well, I used the beef pot roast and called it a crate dragon roast once I seasoned it. So,
Ooh,
it was good too. A little dry on top. I had to add more water to the mix so that it.
I would think if it was authentic crate dragon roast, they'd expect you to roast like a Gila monster or an iguana or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure I want to go that way for it. You know, there's a level of authenticity I'm okay with not having.
That's fine. No, that's at some point, like I saw that they had those blue macaroons that Grogu was eating, and they're like $80 a box, and I'm thinking, just make your own macaroons and then
Dude,
put
yeah, I was gonna say
blue
you make
food
your own
coloring
macaroons
over it, and
with
you're good.
shortbreads. Make them blue. I would
Ooh,
do it with
Suicide
shortbread.
Squad.
I love shortbread more. Shortbread's way better, but you can still make those blue too if you wanted.
Oh yeah,
Would not be hard. Actually, to get that right sky blue color, that might take a little practice, but it wouldn't be
hey
hard.
Dan, can you do me a favor? I mean, I know you're already in this thing, but with your next comic, can you try looking up one of like the Snake Plissken ones? I have them.
Holy crap,
Snake-
they have those?
You said snake split. Snake.
Snake
Plissken.
Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
All right, 1 second.
This guy.
Man is a badass.
This guy, right?
Hold on a second.
the
dude. Let me see if
what?
I can.
eye patch, reddish brownish hair.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. His hair and mine are real close together.
Let me see.
gonna
Hold
kill
on.
me now, Snake?
Hold on to your hats, guys. Let me see if I can find it first.
You gonna kill me now, Snake? I'm too tired.
Oh my god.
Maybe
Dude, I love those movies. Dude, I was so disappointed by the lack of content that they have for Snake Plissken. It actually angered me because I'm like, the most we have literally is comic books. We were supposed to get a video game, but unfortunately Deborah Hill died. We were supposed to get a third Escape film, but unfortunately 9/11 happened. But yeah,
Nazo. Okay, there's
Yeah.
two. There's John Carpenter's Snake Plissken Chronicles, and then there's Adventures of Snake Plissken.
okay, I have both of those. Adventures of Snake Plissken is a one-off, like just a fun, goofy one-off.
It is.
And then Snake Plissken Chronicles is a 5-issue series or 4-issue series, and it's basically a day after Escape from New York,
right.
and it's basically he goes to steal JFK's car from Vegas.
Uh-huh. So
To
those are the
try
only
and make-
two. Those are the only two I could find so far.
If you look up Escape from New York, you might find the other ones.
All right.
Wait, was that a Mickey Mantle ad? Dude, that's a throwback. This is a really old comic.
Oh yeah, it came
Yeah,
out in
it's-
the 50s, 1958.
Yep.
He's
That
he's
sounds
basically
about-
he's basically on a website that took images, like classic images of people's comics even as far back as then, and just put it on there.
I wonder if anybody's ever actually scanned Superman #1.
That
No,
would be cool.
no.
Are they allowed to?
I think I have a copy of Superman #1 in my library.
Yeah, it would be cool to be able to. Because if you want Superman #1, dude, that's a lot of money you're going to have to pay for one. Or they reprinted it at some point, I think. And even those are kind of hard to find.
Here's
Don't they have reprints?
who wrote issue #1 for Superman?
If I remember, Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster.
Okay, so the creators. If you have one signed by the creators, that one's going to be like worth a fortune.
Oh, it is. No, but Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster, they wrote a lot of the earlier Superman issues. It was until they had drama with DC and got fired. That's when other people just completely took over the run of Superman. And they didn't get fully compensated for a long time. So it took them a while before their families could reap the rewards of the billions that Superman would make.
Oh, Space Monkey sent a link for what is
Oh
this?
yeah, that's for Ghost in the Shell. They're re-releasing the manga. I think the original run.
Cool.
Ooh,
on Amazon.
hardcover
And
collection.
Yeah, exactly.
That the theme from the anime film got stuck in my head a while back.
Which one?
That
Okay, yeah, that's like the movies. That's probably the second one.
That's
The
actually
second
it's the
movie.
original one. And actually that's the original one. I watched the original one. I liked it up until the ending. The ending was like
There's a famous scene that's pretty much a screensaver for a lot of people where they
I'll
show like
spend
the
my
city.
vacation not as John Jones detective, but as John Jones, Manhunter
Martian.
from Mars.
Yes, the Martian Manhunter.
It's a joke.
Dan doesn't care about Ghost in the Shell.
No, I've seen it.
We were talking.
I've seen those.
You were talking
I've seen it. I have seen it when I was. It was a few years ago. I've seen it. I'm just not the biggest fan. I don't hate it.
You were talking
just
about
kinda weird.
theme songs that
I
get
like
stuck in your
just
head.
how close it got to it, to the future.
something happened to you, Phil. Song getting stuck in your head.
Yeah, the theme from Cowboy Bebop.
A shit ton of stuff.
Oh,
gets
of
stuck in
course.
Phil's head, including
course.
the theme from
The
Cowboy
one
Bebop.
anime everybody loves.
There's actually a theme from Cowboy Bebop that got stuck in my head. Not just the main theme. There was it was called. It's called Space Lion. That one got stuck in my head.
Cruising around, like when they're eating and stuff. That's the one. That one gets stuck in my head.
What
too.
about the theme for the church when him and Vicious are fighting in the church?
I haven't heard that one yet.
It's the kids. It's like a kids choir, and it goes really well with the church. And then the lady starts singing.
No, I
like,
know what you're
kinda-
talking about. Yeah, maybe if I heard it a few more times.
I'll find the link.
Yeah,
The one like I said, the one that got stuck in my head was Space Line. I'm actually gonna back out of Dan's stream for a second and look at it.
Yeah, sure, man. Go ahead.
Just
Yep, here it is. Let's see. I'll link it.
Dude, what time is it?
It's adventure
5:36.
time.
5:36. Yeah, so I still got
Eastern.
like an hour and
Eastern.
a half before my wife gets off.
Yeah. Well, we don't.
what was
I
it that joke from I'm trying to remember. It's the joke from
From what?
I'm sorry, the joke from Futurama. What time is it? Time for you to shut up.
Who's playing jazz?
That's what I'm talking about. This is the
Holy
one that got
shit,
stuck
though.
in my
That
head.
sounds terrible.
Is that the Cowboy Bebop theme you guys were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
I was wondering because like there's only one jazz show I could think of at the moment.
But yeah, this one got
I got a
stuck in
CD
the
compilation of the original Japanese one, and I ordered a record one, but they've yet to ship it.
Oh, you should probably file a report. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was Right Stuff Anime, and they sold out to Sony.
Not
so
happy
a
about
bunch of
that.
orders are probably. Oh no.
No, he's not happy about it at all. He look happy to you?
Oh my god.
So I take it you guys were watching the news today or at some point, right?
I haven't.
Yeah, Queen's
The
dead
Queen?
Yeah, she passed away at 96.
again.
Oh yeah. We've already
Again.
talked about this, Phil. I think before you showed up.
Yeah, I know. I missed the conversation. I was just like, I'm still
Yeah,
thinking a
somebody
little on
somebody
the
finally
subject.
found her phylactery and broke it, and now she's dead.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right.
Wow. Is that
Wow,
like
really,
an
dude?
old
Is this
witch
some
reference?
kind of reference that she's like
The Queen was
a
a
witch.
revenant.
a homunculi or something?
A
No,
witch,
a
a witch
revenant.
requires a phylactery.
Uh,
A witch? No, it's
A
revenants
lich.
that require. No,
Lich.
I played Dragon Age. It's the revenants.
Oh my god.
oh, that one. Okay.
Well, if you're doing Harry Potter, it's called a Horcrux.
Just stop, guys.
Well, this ain't Harry Potter. Even though it's the same country, but
They go by many names. None of them are good.
None of you are good.
Yeah, bite me.
No thanks, dude. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding.
Because after 2 or 3 days of horrible, agonizing pain, you die.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, Phil. I don't eat people.
Good.
hey, I
And
like
that's
the
why
Chuck
we're
Norris.
gonna remain friends.
Mm.
Phil,
Don't
I
eat
like the Chuck
people.
Norris version. Do you hear the Chuck Norris version, Phil?
Nah.
Wait, the reason
It's
why
like,
we're
there was
remaining
one-
friends is because I'm not a cannibal? You really set the bar low, dude.
Yeah. I did.
All right, here's the Chuck Norris version.
Yeah.
It's like I was once bit by a snake, and after 2-3 agonizing days, it finally died.
That's right.
Oh my
Because I'm
God.
poison, baby.
Great origins of Snake Man. How nice.
No, he said that in what is it, Expendables 3 or 2?
That was 3, I think. And I think I've only seen like 1 and 3.
No,
I
it was not
skipped
3. 3 was the worst. 3 was just like, oh, okay, here's Harrison Ford and a
Can
bunch
I
of
just see
C-list
1 and 2?
actors.
Because I've only seen 2 of them.
2, there's 3, unfortunately. The second one was John Claude, I can't pronounce his name, Van Damme.
John Vodka Van Damme.
Yeah, that guy.
As
he's
in
gonna banana
Damn!
split kick me now.
Damn!
Did he talk like that?
No, I just kind of imitate people.
I've only
The
seen
thing is,
what was it, the Kickboxer movie where he goes to like Thailand or something.
Right. No, people have called me an imitator for a reason. Like I go around imitating people, anything I find funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great compliment to me because you've never imitated me. And so you must not find me very funny.
Oh well, Phil, why would I imitate you?
So who's watched House of the Dragon?
I haven't.
Not yet. My wife and I are actually waiting. No, we're waiting for Lord of the Rings. Why haven't I started watching House of the Dragon?
Wait, you're actually gonna watch Rings of Power? Oh my god.
Yeah, he's gonna give it a shot. I'm not though.
She
Yeah,
wants to
I'm
give
not
it a
watching
shot, dude.
I can think of
I'm
much
a little
better
more
ways to waste your
skeptical,
time.
but I'm willing to follow her because I will. You know, but
Nothing happened though.
Dude, I'm just
cool.
watching all the old Lord of the Rings content, and I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Makes
I mean,
sense.
you got the best Lord of the Rings there is. You
Peter
got
Jackson.
the cartoons, the Peter Jackson trilogy. You got the Hobbit.
God,
You know, I
those
still
Breaking
haven't seen
Bad
the Ralph
cartoons, is that what
Bakshi
you're
one.
talking about?
The Ralph Bakshi one is pretty funny.
Dude, that's
It's a good '60s cartoon.
yeah.
If you
Well,
This
I
hit Sam
actually-
hard though.
Well, actually, the Ralph Bakshi one came out in 1977, the same year Star Wars was made,
There's plenty of pot to go around then.
and the same year that J.R.R. Tolkien passed away.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, which
They have a
you know,
bad habit of releasing Lord of the Rings after these Tolkien guys die.
honestly, dude, I keep wondering, did Tolkien ever see Star Wars? I don't know why. For some reason,
Well,
I
he
keep
died
thinking
in
that.
77. When did Star Wars come out?
In
77.
1977.
Oh, probably
So
not.
I don't know. I don't know when he I don't know if he ever saw it or not. We have to look
I
at the
don't think he
months.
was big on movies, was he?
No, he wasn't. I think I heard that he wasn't the biggest fan of movies, but he didn't like outright hate them. He preferred books. Well, I mean, that's his era. It makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. He was a bibliophile
Yeah.
by his own admission.
Yeah. So all the Rings of Power people that are like, Tolkien would love our show if he was alive, you do not know Tolkien.
Nah, the only
Honestly-
one he could have said that was Tolkien himself, and I don't know what he said because he's dead.
And honestly,
think
if you did know Tolkien, you would hate him. So it's like I don't even want to
Probably.
hear it.
Probably because they never meet your heroes.
No, it's not because
He-
never
he,
meet your
uh,
heroes. It's more
well,
because Tolkien is one of those traditionalists, and in our very progressive era, I don't think he'll like a lot of stuff,
Fair
No.
enough.
especially if you
he
read his
didn't like
letters.
the hippies either. He said something bad about the hippies, right?
Oh, he did? Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't a
I
big
think
fan
so.
of them. Like they were trying to appropriate his material or something. I don't know what his deal was, but who cares?
Well, we got the hippies to thank for the popularity of the Lord of the Rings, but
Yeah. Because who do you
Honestly,
think was
what-
reading those long-haired books? But the long-haired people.
Yeah, they like the
maybe
Hobbit's
it's just
weed.
me, but it's like I don't think the hippies realized the kind of person Tolkien was. It's just like the hippies didn't realize the kind of person Steve Ditko was until he started making The Question. When Steve Ditko started working on The Question, they're like, okay, this guy is one of those, head tight, like, objective, live a responsible life kind of guys. He doesn't like lazing around and doing nothing all day. It's like we were believing a lie. He helped make Spider-Man, so we love this guy. But after we found out what his lifestyle is, now we're not going to support The Question anymore. It's like, yeah, guys, I don't know where you've been, but that Steve Ditko was always like that.
Right.
well, they didn't have the internet back then, so
Yeah, true.
Well, and it just goes back to the saying, never meet your heroes.
No,
It's-
I hate that fucking saying.
I know you do, but I've actually come to understand it because I've met a few of mine, and they didn't always live up to my expectations. Sometimes they were real bastards. And it turns out, you can't always get a feel for a person through a visual medium like television or movies. They can be a complete asshole behind all that. And
Maybe.
be really good at hiding it because they're actors.
Well,
yeah, no,
I
you
mean,
got a point, and you gotta be able to separate the creator from the creation from time to time. And I'm not saying like you can completely separate, but I mean like you don't have to agree with the creator's political views, like his personal views, but you can still like his story.
Well, the thing is, it's not even about political views. It's the fact that creators back then had all sorts of crazy political views. I've been a fan of so many artists that believe in so many wildly different things, but they were creative. They were storytellers. They knew that the story and characters came first. They knew that story structure, all that shit. They knew that shit came first. Today's modern SJWs, when they're working on something, they put their politics first. I
So,
don't have an
here's-
issue.
Here's what I think you're
Yeah.
saying here is that a person can be an artist and you can separate the art and the statements the art makes from the person and their own personal views because sometimes they can be
Yeah.
wildly apart from each other.
No, I know that, dude. I understand. I've heard that
Right.
before.
That's what was
Yeah.
that kind of what you were alluding to here? Because
No. What I was alluding to is the fact that back then, I'm not saying back then people had all sorts of beliefs. I mean, look at Lovecraft. The thing is, these people were creative. They were storytellers. They knew how to tell stories and make great characters. regardless of all
What
the
they
beliefs
believe.
they had. And on
And
top of that,
you're right. There should be a separation there between the two.
well, I mean,
Between the artist and the art, but you can enjoy their art, but maybe not the person as you know, as they are.
well, my point isn't about separating the art from the artist. Yeah, you could do that, and that's fine. What I'm saying is that back then, regardless of what the artist believed, they made great stories and they were able to work with each other, even if they didn't agree with what they personally believed.
Well, that should be a template model to other people in other fields. That sense of commonality.
No,
It's
no,
something
I'll give
something that
you
we can lean into when we need to work together. We can, instead of looking at all our differences, look at our commonalities and lean into that so that we can get past those differences to get things done.
No, I mean, like, a good example of this is J.R.R. Tolkien, who made Lord of the Rings, who Frank Herbert was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. J.R.R. Tolkien was a heavy traditionalist. Frank Herbert was a pretty big progressive. Very different worldviews, but both, influenced, well, both played a role in influencing each other generation wise.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis is another one. He was pen pals with Tolkien, and they had some pretty wildly different views, not just in how to write, but how their own personal worldviews, and they were good friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
I almost kind of found it funny.
Did you know that,
My friend Thomas, he's a huge Tolkien fan, like huge. He said that in his friendship with C.S. Lewis, he based one character off of C.S. Lewis, and
yeah,
that
it's
was
Treebeard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
That's wicked. That's Treebeard is the one.
Well, Treebeard,
Yeah.
the way he talks
makes
is
so
the way
much
C.S.
sense,
Lewis
man.
talked.
He gave the wisest, deepest soul character the traits of his friend. That's crazy cool.
And Phil, did you know the way he talks is the way C.S. Lewis talks?
That's wild. That kind of slow,
Yes,
sort of
he
intense
spoke.
conversation, right? Yeah,
Yes, I heard that somewhere.
That's amazing.
No, I almost imagine I made a joke about this too to my friend Thomas. I said, so you're telling me the Tolkien based the giant wise talking tree that helps people fall asleep because of his tone and mannerisms. And Treebeard kind of was like the hell. Was it Merry and Pippin fell asleep because of it?
Yeah.
They were listening to him, but he because he's got he has kind of that older tone that just kind of makes you a little sleepy. It's not that what he's saying isn't wise. It's just man, dude, you're getting me real
It's like,
sleepy.
can you hurry up? It's like that
Yeah.
sloth in that one cartoon. I'll get that for you.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, speed up.
Well, I almost feel like him and Tolkien are just talking, sitting bull, and Tolkien lets him start talking. And Tolkien's got a pipe in his mouth. And keep in mind, this is just some shit I made up. But I think that'd be funny. And while Lewis is talking, Tolkien falls asleep. His pipe hits his lap and burns. Ah!
Kind of like
Remember
that scene at the end of what was it, Iron Man 3, where you find out that the reason Tony's narrating it is because he's talking to Dr. Banner, and Banner's sitting there half a scene. He's like, "Huh? What? Did you listen to anything I said?" "No, I was not paying attention." Yeah, I got to start over. No, please don't. Please don't start over.
Tony. I'm not a psychologist.
Right, I'm a physicist, not
Remember-
a psychologist, pal.
They even said this in the movie.
Go ahead.
Well, Phil, remember it takes a long time to say anything in Entish.
Yeah.
Is that another reference to C.S. Lewis? How he just took a long time to say anything?
It could be. It can also be. Do you know what verbal aphasia is, right? It's something that we just recently learned with Bruce Willis, that he has a problem articulating his thoughts sometimes. I wonder if C.S. Lewis suffered from that too.
Might have.
Probably.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, it would explain that very simply.
Well, actually, it might be the other way around. It might be the example of he understands his thoughts too well and has to speak every single one just to get to the point.
Well, then he'd be more
Yeah,
like me.
probably.
It'd be more like random scatter shot. That's Dan. It's like trying to contain a buckshot from a wide mouth blunderbuss barrel. It just goes everywhere. My thoughts go everywhere. Anywho, how about
Well,
them
Sherlock
Dodgers?
Holmes. Well, Sherlock Holmes was based on a real guy who had like severe autism.
Yes. I could imagine that as a possibility. I've known some people with the high end, how do they call it? It's a
High functioning.
thank you.
High functioning.
It's a high functioning autism, and they're just capable of some really trippy shit.
What I find interesting is that if Sherlock Holmes was like that, like had the high functioning autism with the being able to observe every little tiny detail, but still have like the tone and cordialness of a gentleman, you're like, oh damn, you've got a lot of wisdom. Like, how do you do it? How can you still socialize but still have like that deeper thinking? You know.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
I don't take meds.
I take notes and meds. Lots of meds. And you
I know,
do
but that's
that Holmes was like dosing himself with coke or something like that at one point.
probably. Back
And
then,
it
that
shows
was
up in
that
both
was
the books and the movie, so it makes you wonder what this guy was cooking up in his free time, right?
yeah, no, like like back then, like meth and coke I'm not even sure they had meth back then, but like
They didn't.
cocaine was like cocaine and opium were like so common of drugs that like kids took them basically.
All right, I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud, but the history of methamphetamine really starts with Germany, and it really starts in the very early 1900s and became super popular in the late 20s, early 30s, right about the time Hitler was running up to steam.
I
And
still
then-
need to read this comic.
Yeah, so there you go. If you wanted to know that, you're right. They didn't have it back in the Victorian era. It wouldn't be invented for like another 30 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have this comic, Dan. I just haven't read it yet. This is George Lucas's The Star Wars.
Well, yeah, it's
Huh.
based on his drafts in 1972 to 1973. And
That was
also-
something. That was something that was interesting. Darth Vader is a general, but he's not a Sith Lord.
Yeah. Oh, which reminds me, I completely forgot to say, I've read this comic at least 5 times.
I still need to check it out. It is on my list to read because there's a couple other Star Wars comics. Like I haven't even gotten to any of the new canon comics because I'm just enjoying what the hell has been around in the past. Like I'm still getting the TCW Digest comics, and
Oh,
I
really?
want to, yeah, and I want to check out the original Marvel run.
Oh, you mean
Well-
the Golden Age?
Oh yeah, the golden age of Star Wars comics. Although that one kind of burned out after watching like the Matt Wilkins videos. But I discovered how badly that one kind of burnt out.
What burnt out?
The original Marvel run.
Well, the original. Well, if we're talking the original Marvel run, which run are we talking? The Avengers, Iron Man, X-Men, Captain America. Like,
I was talking about the original Marvel Star Wars comic run.
oh yeah, of course. Well, dude, those were movie comics. Eventually, that's going to lose steam, especially when the movies start establishing stuff that the comics don't address.
Yeah. No, Star Wars didn't get its like huge, big revitalization until Timothy Zahn's book trilogy.
Well, the Marvel Star Wars comics were big during the run of the original trilogy because Star Wars was big. but there was a slow burn after Return of the Jedi because George said that was it for then until he worked on his prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
We all remember how that happened and went.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Phil?
I said we all remembered how that went, right?
How what went?
The prequels. I mean, it was a long wait between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. So substantial wait there. So
You had almost 2 decades.
I never minded that wait. If Lucas got it right, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Spielberg too. Those are two directors I'm willing to give a great deal of patience to because I know their craft. If they take their time, it always comes out good. So, and that bothers a lot of people that they're not spitting movies out every 2 years. But Millie, isn't that a little fast? I mean, Marvel started to do that, and look at how it's starting to suffer from it.
And at this point, it's not even movies; it's shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a burnout,
Yeah,
Brownout, if you prefer.
Yeah, like here's the thing. A lot of people know that like for myself included, like MCU kind of ended with Endgame. I was like, okay, yeah, anything else I watch at this point, like it's not going to be religiously. It's just going to be like, I'm just going to see if there's anything good here, and if there isn't, I won't watch it again. It's as simple as that.
Yippee. I love that.
What I find funny, and I remember hearing about this comic, is that Luke Skywalker isn't even young in this. He's like an old general. He's like a...
Oh, yeah, exactly. Lucas started with an old man, then a little girl, then himself. Well, Luke.
I think this one was actually a little darker than the original, as the original vision, though, too.
No, it was a lot darker. This was before George decided if he wanted to make this for kids or not.
I'm kind of glad he took the made for kids route, because I can't imagine this doing well in the cinema.
Oh, this probably would have been a horror movie in the cinema.
Yeah, see, like that, like one of the Sith just like murders his brother.
Speaking of,
poor
a lot
Deke.
of people.
Deke, no.
I started to see a lot of there's some commentary now that people are like, oh well, Star Wars is don't go into the horror genre. I mean, dude, that whole, what was it? Like
the zombie book.
Yeah, I mean
Death Troopers. Yeah,
that was kind of like weird. Yeah, I'll admit, but I mean, zombies wouldn't be unheard of in any universe, as far as I can think of, as long as there's a reason to explain how they came to be. I think they did a pretty good job. So
the reason. Ancient dark side magic.
Dark side magic.
I'll admit it's a flimsy reason, but it's a reason nonetheless.
Yeah. No.
Well, actually, the force. I mean, the dark side of the force does have irrational energy. It makes sense that in the Star Wars lore, magic derives from it. I know that's how the Night Sisters do their thing.
Right.
Well, ancient, from someone who's read the Tales of the Jedi comic, a lot of the ancient Sith used alchemy.
Yeah, they did. They did use alchemy.
They
Sorry,
made, like,
dude,
abominations and.
Sorry, dude. I knew what you were talking about. It's just the way you said it that just caught me off guard.
What,
dude? I was gonna say,
magic.
brother, you're scrolling the wrong direction, but oh well, it's gone now.
Those are ads, Phil.
Yeah, that was Carrie Fisher. Now I'm imagining like she was in that damn bikini.
Dude, I'm here for the story, not for images of Carrie Fisher.
There, you have the internet for that.
Right, but it was just a momentary glance.
Dude, just Google Carrie Fisher if you really want to see her in a Princess Leia outfit, okay?
I don't. And that's kind of, in a way, my point. I was never really a big fan of that. I always liked the white outfit better. I always liked that classic white outfit that she wore. That was my favorite of hers.
Whatever, dude.
And the one she wore in The Last Jedi was okay, except for the high thing on that was like covered half her face. I was like, is that her?
Well, it was
choices, such a weird thing.
Yeah, it was like a specific design. I think they were trying to harken to like Padme because Padme had like such a vastness of dresses that they wanted Leia to also have like a vastness of
I could see that as
outfits.
being a thing I would get behind too, because some of her
Yeah,
outfits were pretty cool. But that white one, you know, the one we see her in New Hope, the one we see her in the hologram, the one that's so iconic,
yeah.
sticks
There
in
was
your
only
head.
one Padme outfit I liked, and that was the arena one. All the other outfits were kind of
That one was kind of cool. I actually have a doll. That's the one from her in episode 1 where she's got her hair done and she's in the red.
I know they're trying to do the Mongolian princess. The problem is it did not come across that way at all.
It didn't come across. I thought it was like clown makeup. Why is she wearing clown makeup? That was my
No,
actual
it's
initial
it's
thought.
based off of Mongolian.
I know that, but it didn't come off that way. And if they'd done it right, I would have recognized it at least in part.
I think Ray Park had a better makeup job.
Oh hell yes! Now that was a warrior's paint job.
No, but before Dave Filoni retconned it, all those tattoos on his body were Sith tattoos.
Yeah, and
I have an old
represented his
comic about it.
connection to the dark side.
Well, it's not really a retcon, Nazo. That's just T canon lore. Just like you have EU lore where they are Sith.
I know, but keep in mind, back in the day, they actually tried to integrate T canon into C canon.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, like I said, look, I don't mind T canon being integrated into C canon. My main issue is that you had all these Lucasfilm employees trying to tell people, no, it's all one universe, it's all one time. It's like, because you guys did that, you caused this confusion. If you just went with what George said in all those interviews about the multiverse, then no one would be confused, and these controversies would probably not be as bad as they are.
Oh, I absolutely agree in that regard. Like, personally, I see the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, in two different things. It's in its own reality as its own, canon. It is in the EU, but it only exists in the EU as in-universe fiction.
I see it as an alternate timeline to the G canon because there's just some things that don't match up with the films completely.
Well,
But
here's the thing.
I also see
the
some of the events of the T canon in the EU because there's some events of the EU that's in the G canon because they'll reference some of them.
It actually took Dan twice to explain all of this to me, but now that I understand it, here's my thing: where G and T touch each other and EU touches both of them, there's still a gap there in between them. It's like the Venn circles. There's places where they do touch and they don't. And
here's the thing about parallel universes and alternate timelines, Phil. Thing is, there are things in all of that happen no matter what, and then there's stuff that just doesn't, or there's stuff that happens differently.
Well,
so
that's
it's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, Anakin and Obi-Wan in the prequel films will reference some events from EU books, but also there are things in the EU that just didn't happen in the G canon, and the same goes for the T canon when it comes to both. It's really parallel.
This is sorry.
No, dude. I don't want to interrupt you, man. Sorry.
Well, this is what I'm saying. In the Fate of the Jedi books, which is in the EU, they reference Abeloth as actually being the mother in the whole father son daughter dynamic.
I love that, and I love that.
Yeah, I was reading the Wikipedia article about that. I was like, holy shit! Why didn't they include this?
Yeah, well, the way I explain it is that so again, if you treat TCW as for the expanded universe, not talking about any other canon, just the expanded universe.
Yeah.
If you treat it as in-universe fiction, like created by some Imperial Inquisitor, then you can still connect it because you can say, oh, the Mortis gods, they did exist, but they existed thousands of years ago, and one of the people decided to spice it up and say, oh yeah, Anakin definitely met the Mortis gods.
Oh, I will say this, Nazo. I don't want to step on your parade, bro, but the only thing going against your thesis is the fact that there are some EU novels that do take place in the T canon where like Ahsoka is somewhat, she does somewhat exist in the EU in the sense the EU has, taken her character and put it in their stories to some degree. But I hear that those Clone Wars, those TCW Clone Wars books in the EU are semi-canon. They're not completely canon. So
Yeah. So, well, they are semi-canon. Same with again, look into and not West End Games, although they are an excellent RPG group from back in the day. Look into Fantasy Flight. Look into Fantasy Flight. They released a book called it was called like Forces and Destiny.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, Force and Destiny.
Yeah.
And in it, they explain, actually, in that RPG book, that some of the events in TCW are misremembered or have been altered by Compnor individuals.
In the EU, right?
Yeah, in the EU.
Yeah.
So the way I can put that down is that, like, okay, so some Inquisitor decided to say, oh yeah, Anakin and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, they definitely met the Mortis gods.
Right. Well, I mean, look, my thing is, and I'm talking about all canons here.
Yeah, of course.
I'm talking about all canons here, all of them.
Yeah.
Whether Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka truly met the Mortis gods or not, there's no legitimate proof, even in the T canon. The moment they go back and they wake up, it's like the clones are like,
sir, you've only been here 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what happened? It's like Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, if we're going by the logic of the T canon, ended up in a different dimension. So the rules were different.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like there's no, and plus, I don't think Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka ever talked about it again. So I'm like, there's no actual record of them meeting the Mortis gods.
We sure did it when there wasn't a nitrous oxide leak in the ship and they just dreamed it all.
And hell, you know what? I remember there was a behind the scenes track. Filoni said they left it ambiguously. Was this a dream or did this actually happen? Which I'm like,
fan made retcon if you like it, of how I can actually. This is remember Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka exist in another universe from the EU, right?
Right.
They go back in time because this has actually happened in like some of the bizarre comics, like Talatni Throws a Shake by Alan Moore, where Leia goes back in time and meets Celestials. So maybe these guys got dragged in from a different Star Wars universe into the expanded universe to meet the Mortis gods.
Well, the thing that is pretty, honestly, to me, and Naza,
again,
you don't
fan
know.
retcon,
Naza,
fan
you don't.
retcon.
Yeah, I know. Naza, you don't know DC lore that much either, right?
No, I'm not super big on DC lore, but I know
Well, anyway,
I know about
DC, You know about the new gods, right? The new gods, the old gods.
Yeah. High Father and
The belief is that these beings are so powerful that they're so expansive that they bridge the multiverse, meaning that they're just a part of the multiverse, no matter what universe we're talking. That's how I see the wills and the force gods and spirits. You kind of just bridge the multiverse. If we're talking G canon, EU, T canon, Disney, whatever, they're just there because they're just a part of the force, which engulfs everything. So, it's like if Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka go to meet the Mortis gods from, say, the T canon or the Disney canon or the G canon, it's like, well, it's like it's the force is interconnected with all of reality. That includes all these universes. So in the end, it's all the same. Yeah. But I don't know.
But I again, based on my fan retcon,
Right.
the Mortis God basically took a chosen one from a different version of the Star Wars galaxy to maintain his children's balance, long before the chosen one existed in his own universe.
It's like the force just created endless versions of Anakin in case the dark side in case the Sith tried to get the edge on them. They just made endless versions of it.
Endless,
pretty much, yeah.
Nope. That's not. Nope. That shit's not happening. Anakin's gonna bring balance over and over and over and over, and the Sith are gonna keep looking like idiots.
That's kind of the whole. Again, when I read the Darth Plagueis novel, he has a vision while he's watching Anakin and Qui-Gon, and he actually has like a vision of Vader, and he takes. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't mention this because it might ruin.
Oh,
Phil's
actually, you
reading
want
of
to
it.
know something even funnier, Nazo?
Are you talking
Yeah.
about this book,
What
which
is
I
it?
already finished?
Yeah.
Oh, did you already finish Darth Plagueis?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
finished
anyway,
it in 2
Nazo.
days, man.
Oh, dude, you
Huh?
should have said you should have said we could have celebrated. But anyway, Nazo, you
Yeah.
want to know something funnier? In the Disney
What?
canon, Plagueis is just like he's just searching the holes of Coruscant for Anakin in the Phantom Menace, but he can't find him. And then he finds out, well, he was gonna go assassinate him or something. And he finds out, okay, so Anakin and the Jedi and the Senate, they already left to Naboo. He was like, fuck.
You guys
No,
are
in,
watching Marvel's What If, right?
Yeah,
no,
no,
that's
in
it's
Dar-
Disney canon.
Why
In
do I
Darth-
feel like Star Wars, the G canon, the one that we got on film, that was the What If Ultron won?
Well, no. The thing about the G canon is that, yeah, the G canon is the main universe, but George's form of the reason why, to me, Star Wars and the multiverse are always interconnected is because George goes off the belief. He says 2 things. He says, 1, we all have destinies. We all have a destiny, but we all get to choose if we follow it. That means Anakin could have said, fuck you, I'm doing this, and didn't fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
go
2,
home and be a farmer.
And 2, the second thing he says is the future is always in motion. What Force users see in the Force could always be altered. That just confirms to me the multiverse. There's no set timeline.
Yeah.
There's no
True.
set
No,
anything.
to there, I agree with you. And again, in the Darth Plagueis novel, which I know Phil's probably already read this part. Plagueis, when he's looking at Qui-Gon and Anakin at the platform, he has a vision of like Darth Vader and like the eventual destruction of the Sith, and he's like, "Are we undone? Have you undone us?"
Yeah.
Actually,
have you just screwed the pooch for the last time?
Another key interesting thing that confirms the Star Wars multiverse is that George says if Obi-Wan didn't go to face Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin would have became king of the universe. So George is saying Obi-Wan changed the course of history by showing up.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That just basically, like, look, the way things were going with the power Anakin had, he could have murdered Palpatine, became king of the universe, but Obi-Wan showed up, altered that shit, made Darth Vader.
That's the one universe where Anakin didn't get torn apart by Kenobi, went on, killed Palpatine, and just ruled everything and just plunged the galaxy into darkness.
That happened in the dark side ending of the Revenge of the Sith video game. You actually got to see that outcome where Anakin kills Obi-Wan. Then when the Emperor comes to him, he's like, "Here's your new weapon." And then he stabs him. He goes, "No, the galaxy belongs to me." And I'm like, okay, yeah, all hail Dark Ruler Anakin.
Well, it's like Palpatine said, Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us. And, part of me thinks if Palpatine was so disappointed about Anakin losing that fight, it's like, dude, you wanted all this power. Was there a part of you that actually was so proud of Anakin's accomplishments that you wanted him to kill you and surpass you? Like, it's like, was there a part of you that actually wanted him to win?
That was a conflict of I'm proud of my student becoming probably the best that there ever was, and I don't want to die. It's that conflict between those two things.
That's the conflict of the Sith in general. At one point, if they find a worthy apprentice, it's that apprentice's duty to, like the way the Sith, to kill the master. If the apprentice can't kill the master, the apprentice was unworthy. If the apprentice kills the master, then they are worthy of carrying on the Sith legacy from that point forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's a duality. As a matter of fact, the Disney canon plays with this. There's a Disney canon comic where Palpatine basically just figures out that Vader has started his own like corrupt side of the Empire, that he's building an army that could help him take down Palpatine. And Palpatine figures this all out in a short amount of time and then congratulates Anakin afterwards. He's like, this is our way. This is the way of the Sith.
Well, yeah, because
What
in
the
that
hell?
way, that's one of those things that they're supposed to espouse. But inversely, he was probably thinking to himself, "Well, shit, this kid's getting a little too good too quick."
I better smack him down.
I always wondered if Palpatine, because if you read Dark Plagueis, you get a sense that Palpatine was able to see a couple of different branches of future and what might be. Like you said, the future is always in motion.
Yeah,
So
the
I
thing
think
is,
he saw some
Palpatine
of those
fully
possibilities. I think he sent him to fight. I think he sent him to Mustafar, knowing he'd fight Obi-Wan and lose his limbs and diminish his power in the Force.
well, the
So
thing is, Nazo, is that
Palpatine embodied the
Palpatine
power.
Palpatine did foresee that. He did. But Palpatine also foresaw a lot of other outcomes, like Anakin becoming the most powerful Force user, like he was meant to. So
Yeah.
the thing is, the future is always in motion in Star Wars, meaning that you can't trust what you see. This is why when Luke sees his friends getting tortured and possibly killed, it's like, well, Luke. When Yoda and Obi-Wan's like, Luke, we don't know that's going to happen. All right,
That's
that
one
really,
possibility of many.
exactly. And ironically enough, Luke caused that by going head first and getting his
Yep.
ass.
It's called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Or better yet, when Anakin went down his dark side spiel and lost Padme, it's like, well, thanks to you, now your wife is dead.
Right. You shot yourself in the foot, as the saying goes.
Yeah, it's the concept that like because you tried so hard to prevent it from happening, you ended up being the cause of the problem.
Right. It's
So the
Hey,
smart thing would have been
what does Oogway say in Kung Fu Panda? He says we end up facing our path when we keep trying to avoid it.
yeah, and it basically all Anakin had to do was nothing.
Yeah, you got, or better yet, he's like, oh shit, Palpatine's the Sith Lord. Let me either turn him in, not listen to any of his crap, and just help Mace Windu take him out, and that's it.
Well, here's I love the memes that came out of that. It's like, here Mace Windu's like, you let me violate the Jedi code and kill this guy just one time, and I promise you one favor. It's like, can you help support a child I have with a senator? It's like, that's a pretty specific request, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, Jedi aren't celibate, so if Anakin had a kid, it'd be like, okay. But it's like the fact that Anakin was married to Padme, that's what would have did him in.
Well, here's the thing. If Anakin had been the one to defeat the Sith Lord, turn him in, save Mace Windu from getting killed, then the Jedi could not say shit at that point. They'd be like, yeah, you know what? He resisted temptation. He kept his wife in secret because he was worried about how we would react, but he seems to have, balance and control. He seems to, and Padme probably would have ended up Supreme Chancellor, or maybe Bail Organa would have. And
Bail
I doubt
probably would have, only because he had more experience. But with
Yeah.
many people that supported her and how popular she was, you're right. It is a severe possibility.
in that regard, because Padme would end up having Anakin's kids, Luke and Leia. By that point, Bail wouldn't be daddy to Leia; he'd be like Uncle Bail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
And that would be a whole different set of spark plugs. if you will.
Actually, there was an interesting fan fiction where what happens is Anakin doesn't, give in to the temptations. He teams up with Mace. They fight Palpatine. But Palpatine gets away. And Palpatine, he gets away. He escapes. And basically, Anakin ends up raising a family with the Jedi and Palpatine and everyone around. But the deal is that Palpatine goes off and he creates the Galactic Empire. So he creates the Galactic Empire anyway, and now the Republic is in another war with a rival government, the Galactic Empire, and they're fighting each other. But on the other hand, young Luke Skywalker, ran away from his family, got tempted by another person who became Darth Vader under Palpatine. And then he gets found. He's on a mission on Coruscant, and he gets found by Anakin, and he gets found by Anakin, and is given back to his family, under Padme, Leia, and all the rest of them. And the fan fiction has Anakin basically trying to make Luke, who essentially is very different from the original trilogy. He's actually he's a dark side user. He believes in the Sith, so he's not exactly a good person. And he's trying to get this young preteen to be a responsible individual, not even a Jedi, just someone who's not evil. But Luke is Luke basically is still in contact with the Empire and Palpatine, so it's like Luke could turn on them at any minute. He's kind of in this conflict in that fan fiction.
That's interesting.
I read that years ago. It's been a long time since I've read it, but it was a damn good story. Also, preteen Luke and Mara Jade is funny. I don't care what anyone says. And I wish I still had that fan fiction so that I could read it.
Oh, is he into Mara in that one?
No, there's it's like Mara and Han and Mara Jade are street kids in that universe. Like they're street kids, so it's like Luke being under Palpatine, he hung out with street kids. So I'll give an example. So basically, when Luke and Han go to Coruscant for whatever reason, Han gets caught. He gets in trouble because he's doing some illegal stuff, and he's like, well, I have a friend named Luke. He could help. He could basically explain what happened, but Luke isn't there. He basically turned on Han. It's like it's this street kid sort of mentality where it's like Luke was raised under Palpatine and the Empire and the Sith, but he hung out with a bunch of troublemakers on the streets. I don't want to say the hood because I honestly don't want to offend anyone. Yeah. So no, it's like the personalities of the characters are pretty much the same for most of them, except for Luke. He's very different, but it's a what if scenario.
Well, he had a different home life at that point. He grew up as a luxurious kid on Coruscant rather than, a simple farm boy.
Well, Palpatine put him through trauma and torture. So I don't know. I don't know how nice. Yeah, but Luke is loyal and dedicated to the Galactic Empire in that fan fiction, and he's just very dedicated. But he comes to learn that his original family and his life on Coruscant could have been better, and he makes new friends and stuff. So he's kind of in this inner conflict. Do I turn on what I've known my whole life? He's like 13 to 14. Or do I, just betray these guys and just help the Emperor, take down the Republic? I never finished it. I should finish it if I could find it again.
I wonder if they've reinstituted, because they're at war with the Galactic Empire, if they reinstituted the old rules of the Jedi get a military.
Well, if I remember correctly, the Jedi weren't too much involved because of the Clone Wars. That gave them a bad reputation. The only thing that they had going for them was that Anakin, defeated Palpatine, who was going to turn the Republic into the Empire. That's the only thing they had going for them.
That's why Anakin would make the excellent poster boy for the Jedi joining that conflict, because now they're fighting for the right reason as far as the Republic is concerned.
Yeah,
there's people toiling under the oppression of the Galactic Empire, and the Republic is the only force that can actually do something about it.
I guess the only real criticism I have for the fan fiction, which I do like, it's a decent read. The only criticism I had for it was that how Palpatine was able to build the Galactic Empire from literally nothing. That I'm always gonna question.
All right, Phil.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Dude, were you on something? Never mind.
Was that what?
Nothing.
No. So, yeah, I don't know. I've seen some pretty interesting instances in history where they didn't have anything at all and literally built an empire up. But usually, those that do that, they don't last very long. In the original,
You're forgetting cloning.
huh?
He says you're forgetting cloning.
Yeah, that's a way you can build it up fast, but still, even if you take that as an example and you use it, the Republic used clones for the Clone Wars, but the Republic fell shortly after that, and that's my point. It's almost like at every turn George would say, you can take the quick way and get there, but it's not as satisfying and it's not as productive. He seems to have said that in a lot of different ways with a lot of different things. Just an observation.
Mm.
Because every time somebody tried to take a shortcut in the Star Wars universe, it blows up in their face.
Yeah. No,
Maybe it's a lesson in patience.
Well, keep in mind, Phil, this is fan fiction, which means that, you know, it's more free range. George said there's a pantheon to the system. You have the main universe, which is his films, and then you have the books and games and shows and stuff, which is all the parallel stuff, all the alternate parallel universe stuff and timelines.
Right.
And then you have the fan fiction, which is from the minds of the fans, and that's just complete imaginary multiverse shit. That's just complete endless creative shit. It's just, you know, it's made by fans that aren't working under Lucasfilm, that aren't restricted by certain rules, that could do whatever they want when writing a Star Wars story.
Right.
That's like it's what I like to call the pure, unadulterated side of the Star Wars multiverse, just pure imagination.
All right, so
No limitations. But that's just how I interpret it.
On that note, when you write stuff for that universe, how do you do it? Do you play real loose with the details? Do you play really tight?
Me?
Anybody?
I do both, but I make it very. I'm very careful on what I'm writing. Like if I'm writing a Star Wars whatever, but I'm trying to respect, you know, the lore and everything, I make sure to, you know, completely follow the restrictions, rules, and regulations. But
and
if I'm
also
doing
do your research first,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, well
Yeah.
I do, yeah, I do. But if
But
I'm
you know
doing a free
you know where
range,
you're going. Right.
if I'm doing
I'm
doing a free range Star Wars sort of thing, like say fan fiction, then you know I just do whatever I want. But I make sure not to mix those two things.
I can't say that I've ever gone full on loose cannon. Everything I've worked on so far is I had to adhere to some of the rules and stuff, and yeah, I do envy people that are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna write whatever I want. I envy that. I'm bound to these things because of that deep respect, and I'm not saying that they don't respect it, but that they're able to freewheel it better, and I do envy that. I don't, because I'm maybe it's my age, maybe I just don't bend as well as I used to. I don't know, but some things I just don't want to mess up, you know, and I'm afraid if I get around and start playing around in there, I'm gonna screw it up because it happens to me all the time.
No, back when like they were doing like
We don't want another Disney sequel trilogy.
No, like back when they were doing keep in mind back when they were doing because fan fiction has been around for a while. Back when they were doing like the Han Solo books back in the day, they were releasing like there was a company in I think it was Hungary or Hungary that was releasing releasing Hungarian Han Solo books.
Weird.
Yeah.
Real weird.
Ooh, A New Hope Infinities.
Huh.
Yeah. No, this is the specific Star Wars comic that just completely confirms the Star Wars multiverse, because it shows, you know, that it just shows the parallel universes and such in a very roundabout way. This comic tells you different versions of how the original trilogy could have turned out.
What do
Well,
you
yeah,
want?
like even
What do you want, Orange Fuzz?
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
My cat. He's,
Oh, okay.
he's sitting here staring at me with them big googly eyes, like pet me or something. That's asking me what he wanted.
I'm not a psychic, Phil, but probably food.
And actually, I just filled his food dish not that long ago. Yep, he still got food and water, both, plenty of both.
I've read those newspaper strips.
I don't know if these were newspaper strips, Nazo.
No, there's one there. There's an Epic collection. There's a Star Wars newspaper strips. I've read those.
Oh, cool. Dude, we just spent this stream reading comics and talking about them. That's funny. We're true geeks and nerds.
That's kind of the point.
Fair point.
That point.
Indeed.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I do like about the Star Wars Disney canon is the idea that Luke and Vader encountered each other before Empire. Like they actually met a couple times before Empire. I like that. I think it really adds to like their relationship as enemies, but as rivals and enemies. But you know, it's a cool thing. I know in the G canon they never saw each other until Empire. You know, they never fully really saw each other until Empire. But you know, the idea that in the EU and the Disney canon that they met each other a couple times before that.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
And
like,
it also doesn't
one of
break
them,
any. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Well, one of the encounters, because I'm thinking of the encounters in the EU. One of them is in the original Marvel run, and it's because he's fighting this guy Baron Tag.
Yeah.
He's actually related to one of the dudes running the Death Star. There was another encounter in, I think it was Star Wars 3D issue 3, where Vader kind of sent like a dreamlike vision, and he ends up dueling Vader there, and Vader almost kind of draws him into the dark side there.
Oh,
and then
Nazo, don't forget the very first EU book ever made, Splinters of the Mind's Eye. When Luke
that was next on my list was Splinter of the Mind's Eye, where he encounters Vader and fights him there.
Yeah.
But that's like 3 separate occasions before Empire Strikes Back in the EU where Luke and Vader had actually met before.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because Empire Strikes Back actually kind of has a reference to Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
You want to hear something that I found? Just random thought real quick. But I just realized something. Nuclear proliferation in the Star Wars universe is practically impossible because the bombs are super extremely rare, rarer than they are here.
Yeah.
I just realized nuclear proliferation in the Star Wars universe is something that George Lucas made impossible.
Well, it's doable even in the EU, but it's like very hard to get a bomb. Like very hard to get.
Super hard. I'm imagining because it's hard to find the uranium, maybe. Yeah,
well, check out the book, Maul Lockdown. Darth Maul literally has to go into a prison to find a guy who can supply a nuclear bomb so that he can give it to the criminal organization known as the Bando Gora.
I think I've read something about this. It may have started me down this rabbit hole.
Well, it has a reference. There's a reference to it in Darth Plagueis, because the Bando Gora tried to kill him with a nuclear bomb.
I saw it in there. I was tripped out about that. I was like, "Well, that's really cool," and it's so subtle that nobody really talks about it. That George Lucas pretty much made nuclear proliferation in his universe impossible. We can blow shit up with a Death Star, but you can't hit them with a nuke.
Hey, there's another example in the G canon. Paper, actual paper books, traditional books don't exist. Lucas is like, in the Star Wars galaxy, they just developed holographic technology early, so that's what they kept using. So yeah,
like what would you need paper for at that point?
Well, in the Disney canon, it's
weapons.
In the Disney canon, it's
They
still a
had
thing,
radiation.
I
weapons.
guess.
Yeah,
They had
that
an
could
entire-
also be considered flimsy sheet too.
I was gonna say
Hang
in the
on,
Disney
though.
in the
There
Disney
is-
canon, traditional books are still a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in the EU, there's a whole division of the Empire for nuclear radiation planets. So
Actually,
radiation
in
was a problem.
to tell you the truth, in the Darth Bane trilogy, there were books. There were like old tomes and texts. Now, again, this is before George's films, so obviously they haven't been made
Yeah,
obsolete.
they had the
anymore.
holocrons and they had the metacrons. They also
Well,
had scrolls.
going
and
back to
paper.
the nuclear thing,
Oh,
just because
Obsession,
they
that's
had
an
nuclear
excellent one.
power didn't mean they had nuclear weapons. They're two different grades of uranium. I know this for a fact.
Well, they had a special division to deal with high radiation planets.
Oh, well, that's a
Dan, you're
whole
actually
nother
looking at
thing
one of
now,
my,
because-
But that's in Wikipedia, and that's they did use nuclear weapons, but it was very rare
yeah,
because you have to deal with the radiation. It's far easier
Dan.
just to flip a Star Destroyer over and bombard the planet than radiate it.
yes, it's a lot cleaner too, and I think that was another logic that George put
Well,
in.
because they're
that-
more about occupying than destroying.
That's
The
right.
Death Star was just to make a point.
Nazo, did you call me?
Well, yeah. Well, I said you're actually looking at one of my top 10 favorite EU comics right now.
Oh, it's one of your favorites. One of my favorites too.
Obsession.
Yeah, I love Obsession.
Oh, I freaking love Obsession. Yeah, no, it's my number 6.
Oh,
It's
your number six?
just below Republic / Jedi.
Okay. No, I
And
I like Obsession because if you think Obi-Wan's relationship with Ventress is interesting in the T canon, it's even more interesting and tragic in the E EU.
Oh, I know. There seems to be some.
What happened?
He cut out.
Yeah, Nazo cut out, I guess.
Damn thing. I'm reading this section here. It's page 188.
Can you guys hear me?
Pages. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a technical issue just pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The reason why I count Jedi as part of Republic is there was a short comic series called Star Wars Jedi, and it was like 6 issues. It has like Jedi Yoda, Jedi Count Dooku, Jedi Aayla Secura, and because it fits so well with the Republic series is why I sort of counted it as the same thing.
All right. Well, thanks guys for sticking around, but I have to call it a day because I got to go do something
Yeah,
important.
I gotta go anyway because my wife will be home soon and I gotta go cook. So
Oh, okay. Well, have fun with that, Phil. Tell your wife I said hi.
yeah, I will. You guys be good out there, all right?
Yeah, sure.
Catch you later, gentlemen. May the Force be with you.
May the force be with you guys always.